I apologize. Can we start all over again? If you let me try, I'll dry those rainy eyes, and then there'll be no more pretenses, no more defenses between you and me. Just music and roses, rose and rose of roses, as far as the eye can see. I'll do beautiful things to your heart. Just let me try. I'm yours, please be mine. This isn't the time for goodbye. We're only beginning. It's our time for winning, not falling apart. Give me a chance to bring back romance to your heart. I'll do beautiful things to your heart. Darling, let's fly. We'll cut a slice of your paradise, you and I. I'll be yours.
Great character to play.
You got into acting, apparently. Correct me if I'm wrong. You didn't even want to. You wanted to be a painter and a sculptor, and they kept paying you to act. And
No, they didn't pay me at all.
Well,
But for 5 years, I worked for nothing.
tell us about your painting.
Well,
And, some of your-
well, I worked on newspapers as an artist, and I was having exhibitions,
Yeah.
and I designed a set for the. I went along to classes, Hayes Gordon, just to have a look. And then I was asked would I like to design that set for a play, and I got a walk-on part in the play, and then I was in one play after another.
That's incredible. And then you got into television.
Yeah.
Oh, everything.
So, Rod, you worked with Rod Hardy in the December Boys.
Yeah.
Did you meet him before?
Yeah. He directed
made that film?
He directed me in one of the Crawford productions, one of those cop shows.
Yeah,
And,
Matlock Police and
yeah.
Division 4.
You were in all of those.
And I'd done a lot of those shows, and so I was trying for something different.
Yeah.
So I was challenging the sound operator. So I wondered how quietly can I speak and still be picked up by the microphone. And it came across more naturalistic than anything I'd ever done, I think. But then Rod went away to America, and when he came back with this script and a star to play the part, he knew that he'd worked with me and knew how difficult I was, so he gave me the role.
But December Boys was totally sublime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, lovely.
You were the really sensitive narrator, and also that final scene.
It was like the
older
Aussie
guys.
Stand By Me, which is one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
That final scene was just stunning. When it's just three of you guys talking about the old days, and you finally got together.
On Kangaroo Island.
Yeah.
Rod Hardy, we talked to him a few months ago, and he was saying that's one of his favorite films of the ones he's made.
Good eye.
Your daughter was in The Girl from Tomorrow, which was a show I watched when I was a kid.
Yeah.
One of the best Australian sci-fi kid series ever made.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed that she didn't do anything after that.
Oh, she did at a stage.
Yeah, right.
She'd say, "Where would you like me to cry in this speech?" That's right. So she'd pick up one particular line, and she'd have the reference for it. So I worked with her on stage. Before we started, she had the American accent down perfectly, and
You're doing a good American accent as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved your work in Lightning Jack.
Give us some of your American. Let's have it.
Lightning Jack. You did an amazing cowboy deputy.
Yeah, well, Paul Hogan had a lot to do with that, with the film. And I arrived in Colorado,
Yeah.
and I hung around for a couple of days just watching television. And
Simon Windsor directed that one.
Yeah.
Simon Windsor, yeah.
And then Paul said...
Paul Hogan.
Paul Hogan said,
Yep.
"Do you know why we cast you in this?" And I said, "Oh, you saw me playing Polonius in Hamlet, did you?" He said, "What?" I said, "No, I don't." He said, "No, because there are only 2 actors in Australia who can do an American accent." And I said, "What, there's another one?" He said, "Yes, Gus Mercurio." I said, "Well, he's American."
He already is.
And he said, "Is he?" And I said, "When have you heard me do an American accent?" And I said, "Was it in The Price?" He said, "What? What's that?" I said, "An Arthur Miller play, The Price." He said, "No." And there was another thing where I did an American accent. He said, no. I said, "Oh, I know. Oils ain't oils." And he said,
The GTX ad.
He said, "Oh," he said, "You're not going to do
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I saw that.
He said, "You're not going to do that, are you?" And I said, "I might." He said, "Oh," he was thinking recast.
Yeah.
But L.Q. Jones was in the film, and I talked with him a lot. And he was from Hollywood, really. He didn't have much of a cowboy accent, but he could put one on. So I got a lot of help from just listening, and he was my buddy.
And your accent was spot on in Wolverine.
Yeah.
And also in The Great Gatsby. You did a really good New York accent in The Great Gatsby. And in Wolverine, you did like a Midwestern.
Yeah.
It was excellent. You really picked up on those accents very well. You got a very good ear.
I had a bit of help from tutors.
Yeah.
But I like to pick them up. I like to pick an accent that's a bit borderline.
But you've worked with some amazing, you just absolutely...
I have.
Ruth Cracknell is a legendary Australian actress, and it's amazing that you acted with her in probably one of her most famous film roles. She was mostly in television. This was one of the few films she was in.
Yeah.
And I loved your chemistry with her. It was just so real.
That's in Spider and Rose.
Spider and
Yeah.
Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
1994 that came out.
I used a little bit of cheaty method acting in that too. I pretended she was Elle Macpherson.
She was an attractive woman though,
Quite
Ruth.
tall.
Yeah.
And I reckon if I'd been on a desert island, I'd have made her a cup of tea.
You wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
And why not?
We even hopped into bed together.
Oh, yeah.
That was
There was some
after they'd said cut. No, there
was some intimate moments in the film.
Yeah, there were really nice tender moments.
Yeah.
They were.
And
That line you gave her about the Sega Game Gear was hilarious.
what did I say?
You said that in the glove compartment there was a Sega Game Gear, the little console.
Oh, yeah.
She pulls it out and she's like, "What is this?" And you explain to her, you give her an analogy of how a handheld console is like life. It depends when you press the buttons and at what time you press them.
Yeah.
And it was a really, really funny quote, and it had so much meaning in it as well.
Yeah.
And the other one, a beekeeper that's allergic to bees.
Yeah.
So, hello?
Yeah.
You had all the funniest lines in that movie.
Well, I got to make up a few too, because I like directors that let us do that. And
Some of cinema's greatest moments in general have been ad-lib.
Well, Kiss and Kill, getting back to that one, was meant to be mostly
I
improvised.
love that movie.
Yeah, that's the same director.
That was Bill Bennett.
Bill Bennett.
That was mostly improvised?
Yeah,
Do you prefer that? Was
The
that
caves under the ground.
Oh yes, I do like that.
was a lot of fun to bounce off the actors and just sort of make stuff up as you go?
Yeah, and the design on the T-shirt, that was my idea too, because it was sort of Irish and
Well, it was yours.
Yeah.
Was the cave thing your idea? The caves, imaginary caves and all that? Really?
Yeah.
What were you looking for? What was your character looking for in that film? Opals or gold?
No, just a peaceful existence, really.
Yeah.
And he was very superstitious and into mythology and stuff like that.
And you know, the murder of your character was so central to the plot of the entire film. It was kind of like the MacGuffin that kept the ball rolling, and everyone just needed to, you know, the football player who was trying to find the couple, the other cops who were trying to find the couple.
Yeah.
And, you know, your friend who was Barry Otto.
Yeah,
Barry Otto,
yeah.
a fantastic actor.
Everyone seemed to be
A little bit weird.
Implicit in your murder. And that's what I love about the film. It was very Hitchcockian. You never knew who was responsible,
Yeah,
if
I love
that
that.
couple was...
Yeah.
What he's saying is, pardon me for paraphrasing you, Fred, but what he's saying is, it must have been okay to play a character that didn't have to be there.
I love that too.
It was good because it was quite a small role,
Quite
but yet
instrumental.
your shadow hovers above everybody for at least half the film. Because your murder, kind of like in Psycho, Hitchcock Psycho, happens halfway through the movie. Yeah. And then your murder is basically what brings all the players together to investigate what exactly happened.
You know, I should have watched all of that movie instead of just walking out after I got killed.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was one of Australia's finest films. And that was Frances O'Connor's
Matt Day,
first major role.
She was very good in that.
Very good.
Right.
And she was in Artificial Intelligence since then, and
Good.
quite a few.
Well, that leads to the next thing. I started, we just get off on so many tracks. It's fascinating, but you work with just everyone. It's fascinating. Who really stands out as a couple of people?
Gillian Armstrong.
Really
Simon
enjoyed
Windsor.
working with. Directors, actors.
Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah, Baz.
So many.
Jackman.
Rolf de Heer as well. I really liked you in Incident at Raven's Gate.
Yeah.
Which was like a Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going on over there. It's kind of like a paranormal activity. You don't know if it's aliens. You don't know if it's some mysterious force.
They didn't have a big budget.
Yep.
And the effects were done in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Reflected into the camera.
To give it a ghostly look.
Just to cut down on
Cost.
the cost and what stuff that could be done in the lab. So it was not just, I mean, real effects that were happening. It was a lot of planning had to go into that.
Oh, it would, yeah.
And Rolf de Heer's the guy to do it.
And I loved your role. You were kind of like a meandering police officer who just didn't know whether he wanted to be a cop.
Yeah, I think
you were just kind of like,
No, I think that was just bad acting.
No, it was excellent acting. I loved your role in that.
But the thing that sticks in Rolf's mind is that I had to go up on a windmill and observe something from the windmill, and I get vertigo.
Oh no!
So but they had to be somebody holding onto my legs, and I had to have a rope around me.
Yeah.
I think that he remembers that scene. He saw this play, Dead Men Talking. I think that's what he saw.
Dead Men Talking.
Yeah. He said I was watching you on the stage, and I just couldn't stop thinking about you up in the windmill. Yeah.
But who are some of the people you really enjoy working with? I mean,
everyone.
Actors, directors.
I love them. I love them all.
Who stands
I
out?
love everybody. Everybody's really nice, and I love them. And I worked with Gillian Armstrong a few times.
Oh yeah. She's great.
What was it like working with Gavin Hood? He's like the new big thing now. He released Eye in the Sky just recently. He did Ender's Game, but you worked with him in Wolverine.
Yeah.
Was it fun working with Hugh Jackman in that film?
Too right, yeah.
In that scene, they blow up your entire house.
Yeah.
Well, you've done
The
small
sniper takes
films,
you out.
like the ones we talked about. How is it on the big blockbusters like that? The really huge film. Is it a different experience? Is it a little bit more challenging?
Well, particularly working with Baz Luhrmann, you know, the catering's going to be really good.
Yeah.
The accommodation's going to be really good.
He's very stylish.
And it pays well, and there are residuals.
Yeah.
Lightning Jack, I still get residuals from that. I think the last one was for 5 cents.
Still, it's there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, just thinking about Baz Luhrmann, Australia was not well received. A lot of people bagged that. A lot of people bagged Nicole Kidman, and I didn't think it was that bad.
I liked it.
How did you feel about it?
I was playing old drunk.
Yeah.
Was that a stretch, or?
Well, there are a lot of actors who were envious because they thought they should have got that role. And I had my own caravan, and it didn't have my name. It said Old Drunk. The character name, Old Drunk. Yeah, I'm good at that. I can play that role. I think Baz has only ever seen me drunk.
That's it.
And but I think The Great Gatsby he really told the story, and it was really well cast.
Do you prefer that version or the Robert Redford version?
Oh, I prefer Baz's version.
Baz's, yeah.
But
it's so grand.
Baz is Baz. It's bigger than life. It's just,
in the book, the character that I was playing is drunk.
Yeah.
Again? He's drunk. So I played him drunk. But in Hollywood, they don't like to see drunk people drunk.
Where was it shot?
Yeah, all in Sydney.
All in Sydney?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Oh,
and Wolverine, was that in Canada?
No, in New Zealand.
New Zealand, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, that was a beauty. But we went all the way to New Zealand, and there was a bit of wind. So the scenes, while we were in the car, they were shot in front of a green screen.
Yeah, as so many films.
Cool.
Yeah, and they put the background in later.
It just destroys everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The green screen in everything.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a lovely thing to do.
Now, you won a Logie for your supporting role in The Last Bastion, which is a really great miniseries that was on television in 1984.
Yeah.
A while back.
And it chronicled Australia's involvement in the Second World War from the Australian point of view as well, which was quite interesting.
Yeah. And Eddie Ward, I could remember Eddie Ward's voice from when I was a kid. Yeah. And when Eddie Ward and Bob Menzies were having an argument in the house, everybody's ear would be to the radio. My father would be listening.
What years were those?
In the 40s.
40s, yeah.
But I could remember this strident voice of Eddie Ward, and there was a possibility that he could be the leader of the opposition, but they decided that they had too many Catholics in the party, so they elected Gough ahead of Eddie Ward. And Eddie Ward was so irate, he threw a punch at Gough Whitlam in the corridor, and Gough stepped aside and slammed his office door, and Eddie Ward's glasses fell off. He didn't drink. He had been a prize fighter, and he was a vegetarian, and always dressed like a dentist, with a nice suit and so on. A very unusual sort of Labor politician. But in his electorate, they say there was a groove worn in the pavement outside Eddie's house in Darlinghurst. He was a terrific and interesting character for me to research.
Yeah.
And I found.
Was there a lot of material that
I found it in there was a book on him.
Yep.
And also
some footage.
None.
Yeah, in those days.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of research the mannerisms and the way he talked and walked and all that.
There was stills, and I usually stood very upright, and I knew I was getting it right.
Your performance was amazing in that.
I knew I was getting it right when I walked into the set where the art department they're dressing the set, and it was they got really nervous because I was such an authoritarian, and I wouldn't have wanted anything obscene stuck on the wall. And the guy playing MacArthur. Robert Vaughan.
He was so good in that.
Yeah, but Bill Hunter was playing Ben Chifley.
Yep.
And I was shouting comments, ad-libbing comments at MacArthur. I think Vaughan took some exception because he walked past me and deliberately bumped me. Yeah.
You put him off your stride a bit with ad-libs.
I think so.
That was a retake.
And in the bar later, I offered to buy him a drink. No, he wouldn't. was not interested. Maybe he was in character, because he was. I was in character too. But not a nice character. I wasn't being particularly nice.
Well, they're more geared to specific scripts.
Yeah.
To throw an ad lib with throw 'em a bit.
Oh, yeah.
It can be fun.
Oh, no, this was just as he was getting off the plane or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was quite a stretch.
You know, I was born in 1984, but I was only able to see
1984?
Yeah, the year of Orwell.
What
Same
a
year
kid.
that Last Bastion came out. But I've only been able to watch it recently in the abridged 2.5-hour version because the original was 6 hours and it went over a few nights.
Yeah.
I can't find it, and I'm really wanting to watch the entire duration of the original series.
Oh, yes. I've probably got it all.
I'll have to get it off you.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got your picture theatre over in Gunning,
Yeah.
which is a restoration of the 1937 movie theatre.
Yeah.
What inspired you to re-renovate that with your wife?
Quite a project.
We needed
Because
it.
both of you are artists.
So we needed
aren't
a
you?
big space. We'd been living in a shoe factory in Camperdown, and they were changing it into units. So we needed it. And it was advertised in the Herald.
There you go.
Yeah.
Snap it up.
Yeah, it was. And it was dirt cheap.
In addition to selling books and allowing local talent to play live music there, do you also retain that old cinema feature and show movies there once in a while? Yeah?
Yes, we do.
Classics or new films as well?
We rarely show movies, but
Okay.
they're got to be on a disc or, like,
Well, you've had quite a life, really, and your book, Tell 'Em Nothing, Take 'Em Nowhere, that was named after a problem with your father, was it?
No, that was just about my mother's. Oh, yes, he was tubercular.
Yeah,
And,
you wanted to keep
wouldn't-
that quiet.
Yeah, wouldn't tell anyone.
But it was your mother who told you, keep quiet, don't tell everybody.
Yeah,
What,
tell them nothing, take
Yeah.
them nowhere. But so.
why was it so taboo in those days to tell people, oh, my dad's sick?
Well,
why was it a big deal?
it was so highly contagious.
Okay.
Yeah,
And it,
and he had to have his.
that would have
own-
been a stigma.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Flying Doctors, what drew you to that role as well? Because that was your longest television series that you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that something that you, living kind of in the countryside in New South Wales, is that something you were a part of and understood?
No,
No?
they started in Victoria,
Yeah.
in a place called Minyip.
Oh, Minion.
Yeah, so I was in the pilot. And I still get fan mail from Holland and strange places.
Yeah.
Just
For Flying Doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Bennett is a director you've worked with quite a bit. You've got
Yeah.
like a Robert De Niro, Scorsese relationship with him.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been
Lots of
in
films.
Spider and Rose,
Yeah.
The Nugget,
Yeah.
In a Savage Land, which I thought was an incredible film. It reminded me a lot
Yeah.
of The Sheltering Sky, if you
Yeah.
remember that one.
Yeah.
By Bernardo Bertolucci. Had that same kind of vibe to it. You're in a third world country, so far away from civilization.
Yes. The only reason I was in a Savage Land was that Chris Hayward got another gig, so he had to go somewhere
Oh,
else.
you stepped in for his.
Yeah, but his agent, I think, had already done the negotiating.
Yeah.
So I had a very nice accommodation, and I got paid well, and had a nice uniform to wear.
Yeah.
And a lot of the rest of the cast and people in the crew were sleeping on the beach.
Yeah.
And
Bit of tennis in the villa.
yeah, and they were saying how rough it was, the terrain, and how difficult it all was.
Oh.
And I said yes. In fact, last night, the temperature in my room, I had to get up and I had to turn up the air conditioning because it was a little bit cool.
Oh, it's tough.
Yeah, it was really tough.
And the cocktails don't come at 5.
Yeah, that's right.
But that was a good movie. With,
Yeah.
Martin Donovan came out, and Maya Stange, gorgeous woman.
Yeah,
Rufus Sewell, that's right. He was a
yeah,
young lad.
yeah.
That's quite good.
Max, how important is music to you in your life? Because after watching Billie's Holiday, I understood that you have some affinity with Billie Holiday. You do an amazing impersonation of her. And I really enjoyed watching the film. It was one of those few truly Australian musicals. I mean, Australia has not made that many.
Yeah.
But how unique, though. I mean, you're a band leader singing in this Mervyn and Magic Codes band to no one, and apparently you're in the shower having a little sing on the high falsetto like Billie Holiday and your daughter, and you become a sensation singing these incredible Billie Holiday songs. Fantastic.
Yeah, well,
Sig, I mean, you're also into the singing.
Oh, yeah.
There I was I was just at home, and my very good friend Dennis Whitburn was there. He wrote it, and apparently it's 3 a.m. after a few glasses of
the shooter.
I start doing Billie Holiday. Am I blue? Am I blue? And these tears in my eyes tell you.
Oh, yeah.
It's really very pathetic. Really.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Do you play instruments as well, like a trumpet or?
Yeah,
I saw you playing piano and a trumpet in the film.
Trombone,
Trombone, sorry.
You were miming that. James Morrison.
I was miming to James Morrison, and Roy Ferrin had showed me exactly where to put the slide.
Yeah, you got a position. So many times.
Can you play any of those instruments?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm mostly keyboards.
Yeah.
And a little
But
guitar.
you're a left-handed trombone player.
I'm not. It's the slide to the left or the right?
Right.
It's the right. I'm not a trombone player.
No.
I can play a little bit.
You could be a boxer.
Well, it could be. Yeah.
When it rains.
I've never played a mechanic.
Rain. How does it go? Pennies from heaven.
Every time it rains,
It rains. Pennies from heaven. Bum ba da bum bum.
In fact,
Da-da-da.
I've got a penny. I got a penny, and it's a 1910 penny. No, it's 1910, and that's when my mother was born. And it's really worn out. But that's I always carry that when I'm playing Henry Lawson.
Why does a man get drunk? There seems to be no excuse for it. I get drunk because I'm in trouble, and I get drunk because I got out of it. I get drunk because I'm sick, or have corns or a toothache. And I get drunk because I'm feeling well and grand. I got drunk the night I proposed and was accepted, and I get drunk when I'm rejected. I get drunk when I feel I want to drink, and drunk when I don't. I get drunk when I have a row and make a fool of myself, and when everything's fixed up again, I get drunk to celebrate it. I get drunk because I'm frightened about things, and I get drunk when I don't give a damn. I get drunk if I'm hard up and drunk if I'm flush. Mind you, I don't much like getting drunk. I don't really enjoy it. I suffer hell afterwards. I'm far better and happier when I'm sober, and tea tastes better than beer. I don't have a craving for drink, but I get drunk. I don't think the mystery of drunkenness will ever be explained. Not until all things are explained. And that'll be never.